Hey guys, it's Raul again, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up. So in the month of April, I completed a total of 4 books, and I started 3 other ones. Also in the month of April, together with Janie from Bookworms Buddy, we hosted the first Read Your E-Reader month, which is basically just taking all of these neglected ebooks that we have and usually don't read, and just putting a bunch of challenges together and trying to get through a couple of them. I completed 2 ebooks, so I'm going to start off with talking about the ebooks that I completed in the month of April. So the first ebook that I completed for April was Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver, and this book completed the challenges of read a standalone and read an author that was new to me. So Vanishing Girls is basically a story about these 2 sisters and kind of a falling out that these 2 sisters have, and when one of the sisters goes missing, the other one is kind of left to search for her sister and kind of figure out the mystery around her disappearance. Now, this book for me was definitely a love-hate relationship between it, because the first, I think, 2/3 of the book or so, nothing was really going on. The first 150, 175 pages or so, nothing really happened. It was just kind of giving you a lot of backstory about these 2 sisters, kind of their day-to-day things. They got a job, they met some friends, they went to parties, and it was just kind of talking about the relationship between the 2 of them. It was going kind of back and forth between the past and the present, with telling you about this accident that happened and kind of the falling out that happened after the accident. So you kind of get a lot of backstory about that. There's really no plot at the first, I believe, 2/3 of the book or so. So nothing's really going on except for just like day-to-day normal things. I mean, the writing is great, so it definitely kept you kind of intrigued, and I definitely went into this book blindly, not really knowing what it was about. So I wanted to keep going because I wanted to find out what this book was about, because I didn't read the synopsis or anything. The title Vanishing Girls obviously clearly told me that one of these girls was going to disappear. So I was pushing myself through this book to get to whatever the plot was. So I felt like, for me, it was inconsistent with that because it took way too long to finally get to the disappearance of one of the sisters, and then after that it got really good. Like, I really enjoyed the last third of the book, where the one sister was trying to find the other one and trying to kind of figure out the mystery between that and her disappearance and her family acting really weird around them. So I really enjoyed the last third, and I really wish that more of that mystery kind of was spread out throughout the book. Like, I wish the sister would have disappeared at the beginning, and then they would have weaved the past and present, kind of their day-to-day things, with this mystery of her trying to figure out the disappearance of her sister. So that I would have enjoyed a lot more. In the end, I ended up still giving this book, I believe, like a 3.5, maybe 4 stars or so, because I did really enjoy the writing. I did really get through this book really quickly. Lauren Oliver's writing is really, really addicting. And the next book that I read for the e-reader month was The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, and this satisfied the read a book that is first in the series and read a book that is over 300 pages. Now, this book is about these kids that, after this sickness that kind of spreads throughout the world, a bunch of kids start getting these abilities, and then the adults kind of get scared of all these kids with these abilities, so then they get put into concentration camps, and our main character kind of quickly at the beginning of the concentration camp escapes. About 5 or 6 years after she gets put into there, she escapes, and then the story kind of goes on from there. People obviously chasing her and trying to get her back, and then the people that she meets kind of on the road in her new journey and everything. So this is definitely a more slower paced dystopian read. I'm usually used to going into dystopians thinking that they're going to be quick and fast paced and action packed, and this one was definitely still enjoyable. It just wasn't as fast paced and action packed. Like, I was expecting something action packed, kids with abilities, kind of X-Men type thing. I was expecting something really action packed and really quick, and they definitely gave us a slower paced kind of dystopian, which I still really enjoyed, but it's not what I was expecting going into this, and not the reason kind of why I read dystopians. Like, if I wanted something slower paced and something more character driven, I probably would have grabbed a contemporary or something. So, like I said, I still really enjoyed it. The last half of this book was really, really enjoyable, and I absolutely loved the way the author ended this first book and kind of left everything there. So it really made me intrigued to want to continue on with the series, and I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars. Now, moving on to the physical books that I completed in the month of April. The first one that I completed was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is a World War II historical fiction about these 2 different characters and kind of their stories separately, and kind of how everything kind of intertwines and interweaves and they eventually meet and everything. I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of people have been raving about this book. It has won tons of awards. I believe there's a movie coming out, and I am super, super excited about this one because it definitely deserves all of the hype it has and all of the awards it has, because it was really, really beautifully written. I absolutely loved the way this author kind of wove together these two different stories and kind of really drew us into this world and into this time period. I'm not super familiar with, anything World War II and that kind of thing. I really didn't pay attention during history class a lot. So I was kind of a little lost with some of the things going on because I'm just not super familiar with it, which is why I didn't end up giving this a complete 5 out of 5 stars. I still gave it 4.5, 4.75 or so. Because, like I said, the story itself was really intriguing. The kind of things that were going on with these two main characters were just really sucked you in. This was definitely a tearjerker. Everything that people say about this, it being very emotional, very beautiful, definitely agree on, because this was definitely a very beautiful, very emotional type read, and I really, really enjoyed the entire thing throughout. I'm really glad that I finally was able to finish this book, because I started it back in February and then put it down about halfway through because I had other buddy reads and other things to do, and then got into a slump. So I'm finally glad that I finished this book because I absolutely loved it. The next physical book that I completed in the month of April was A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis. Trina from Between Chapters is probably super excited that I finally read this book, because Mindy McGinnis is one of her favorite authors, and she has been begging everyone on YouTube here to read anything by Mindy McGinnis. So I picked up A Madness So Discreet because it sounded really intriguing, and I absolutely loved this cover. And this book, oh my god, was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because it was just one of the best things that I read. Definitely got me out of my slump. Like I said, I've been in a slump since February, and this definitely got me out of my slump. It was fast, it was amazing, it was beautifully written, the characters, everything that was going on was just wonderful. It's about this woman who gets put into an asylum after she becomes pregnant, and it takes place kind of in the early or mid 1800s or so, where everyone kind of gets thrown into insane asylums for really no apparent reason. So this woman gets thrown into an insane asylum after she becomes pregnant, and then you kind of start to get to know her a little bit more throughout the story, why she was put into the asylum and everything, and you start to discover a bunch of other things. So she's only in the asylum for a very short period of time, because shortly after that she meets this doctor who kind of realizes that she has a special ability to kind of analyze killers and analyze other people. So this doctor kind of takes her out of this asylum to help him solve crimes, like help him kind of to determine who might have committed crimes by the way they were committed, and kind of to analyze the mind of these killers, which is like amazing. It was just brilliantly done. Like, I absolutely loved this one. I know that Mindy McGinnis actually won an award for this one recently, which I'm like super excited about, because I finished this book probably like 3 or 4 days before she won that award. So I'm even more excited that I read this one. I won't go into more detail other than that, because I went into this one not knowing much about it, and it blew me away. And I want this book to blow people away also, because it was just wonderful, wonderful. Writing, characters, pacing, everything was just perfect. I absolutely loved this book. This is definitely one of my favorite books that I've read this year so far. Now, I also started a couple of books, which I will briefly mention, but give more of my details at the end of May. The first one being You by Caroline Kepnes, which I also started for the Read Your E-Reader month. This would have satisfied the Read a Book with a White Cover challenge. I'm really enjoying this so far. Joe is like insanely creepy. A lot of you guys know it's about a stalker, Joe, and it's written in second person, so it's as if the stalker were talking to you and stalking you as the reader. So far, I'm really, like I said, really enjoying it. Really loving the writing style and everything. It's just really, really creepy. So I'm taking my time with this one because it is creepier than what I was expecting. So yeah, more of my thoughts and everything in May, because I will definitely finish this one in May. The next book I also started, only got really quickly into it because I wanted to read this book because this author is going to be at BookCon and I kind of really want to meet him, is The Whispers of the Fallen by J.D. Netto. This is a kind of post-apocalyptic or maybe modern time. I'm not sure. I know it's about angels and demons and Nephilim and that kind of thing. So if you're familiar with the Mortal Instruments, and it's sort of like that. And it's this kid who's kind of searching for Lucifer's diary, I believe it is. So far, it's really quick and really action-packed, so I'm hoping to get through this one super quickly and hopefully meet the author in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, more of my thoughts on that one, most likely, like I said, at the end of May also. And then, because I was out of my slump and was in the mood to grab something larger than normal and a fantasy, I grabbed Airfire by Sarah J Maas. I absolutely loved the second book, so I grabbed the third one because I've had this one on my shelf since September, and because I'm finally in the mood to read something denser and something larger, I picked this one up because I didn't want to start any other fantasy series because I'm not caught up with this one, so I decided to just pick this one up. I'm only about 100 pages in, but still really enjoying it. I know a lot of people rave about this one. They say it's better than the second one, so if it is better than the second one, I'm going to absolutely love it because I absolutely loved Crown of Midnight. So more of my thoughts again on this book at the end of May, because this is probably going to be the first book that I finish in May. Yeah guys, that is it for all of the books that I read in the month of April and all of the books that I started in the month of April. So comment down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were on these books. If you guys participated in Read Your E-Reader month, let me know how you guys did. If you guys did as horribly as I did or not, let me know which ones were your favorite. If you guys did a video or a wrap up on the Read Your E-Reader month, definitely let me know so I can go check those out, because I'm really excited to see kind of everyone's thoughts on what they read on their e-reader, because I know a lot of people were really curious and really interested in participating at the beginning, and I saw a couple of TBRs and everything. So I would love to know how you guys did on Read Your E-Reader month, and if it is something that interests you guys in doing later on, probably a seasonal thing. Me and Janie were talking about maybe doing it seasonally, but let me know what your thoughts are, what your favorite books were this month and everything, and I will see you guys all next time.